was a man with courage, a man who showed bravery, a man who fought valiantly till the very end, a man with mana. Ladies and gentlemen, Porokuru Patapu Pohe, known to his mates as John Pohe. John was a pilot. He flew for the RAF's 51 Squadron all over Europe. He completed many missions and was recognized as a man who was exceptional at his job. But on one mission, John would be truly tested. Not on his capabilities as a pilot, not on his capabilities as a soldier, but rather his capabilities as a New Zealander. On what was supposed to be a routine mission to Hanover, John's plane was taken down. He managed to land safely in the ocean, but had to endure 48 hours floating in a small dinghy. John prayed and hoped that he would be found, and eventually he was. The only problem was that John was found by the enemy. They took him and put him in a German interrogation camp, where they questioned him, pushed him against the back wall, and tried to squeeze every last drop of information. But John stood firm. He stood with kia kaha and didn't even leak the tiniest of whispers. So they took him again and put him in an unforgiving hellhole, Stalag Luft 3, a prisoner of war camp. John was trapped, surrounded by enormous barbed wire fences, choking at his very existence. Guard towers marched around him at regular intervals, with machine guns watching every single move he made. John was in a graveyard where hope and prosperity perished on a daily basis. Back in New Zealand, on a small family farm just outside Taihepe, John's family received a telegram. For John's mother, that tiny little baby boy that she held in her arms was being ripped away from her. For John's father, that young lad who would help him after school on the farm, that young lad he cared and nurtured for, was now trapped, screaming for his very survival. Every single one of those men in Stalag Luft 3 wanted to be somewhere else. So they decided to create their own light at the end of a dark and gloomy tunnel. They planned for a great escape. The men built 3 tunnels, Tom, Dick, and Harry. Tom and Dick would act as decoy tunnels to distract the officers. But Harry would lead them to freedom. Harry would be their opportunity. John was as keen as he would ever be, helping out wherever he could. He started off sharpening the tools, preparing them for use. Then later, he put that New Zealand work ethic straight into action, going underground, digging the tunnels themselves. Day after day after day after day, John would shed blood, sweat, and tears just to create that small opportunity. And on March 24th, 1944, the tunnels were complete. the time had come to put that plan into action. The men scampered through that narrow tunnel, the ground collapsing around them, to reach the end and find the exit frozen shut. They broke their way through, hoping to emerge in a forest, sheltering them from the eyes of the guards. Instead, they emerged to find that their tunnel was 30 feet short. Nevertheless, the men took the risk. They dashed across towards the forest, and 76 men escaped that night. The rest did not. An off-duty officer had spotted the commotion. He rushed to the scene and seized the escape. John was one of those 76 men. He had made it out. His hard work had paid off. But Hitler was hot on his heels. Ladies and gentlemen, the story for John does not end in happiness. He was recaptured, executed by Gestapo officers. But what we remember today are men like John. Men who fought valiantly till the very end. The men who cultivated the spirit of our nation. Men who carved our national identity. Men like John. Our men. New Zealand's men. Legends! Just like John Pohe.